I'm going to talk about how to lead a balanced life based on my own experience. Of course, you can have passion. I'm not saying you should not aspire for great things in life, but while achieving those great things, is there a way you can also have a well-balanced, quote-unquote, good life? So I have been thinking about it for the past few days, and I've been researching about it. So I thought, let me share some of the thoughts that are on top of my mind here. So it seems it is possible. But to make it possible, it seems you need 3 secret ingredients. So the first and foremost is obviously happiness. So I thought that all of you have experienced it sometime or the other, so I don't need to spend too much time on happiness. But after hearing Professor YLR, I think I should talk a little bit more about it. So it seems there are several categories and degrees and levels of happiness out there. And I'm sure all of you have experienced at some point or the other and will be able to relate to it. The first is obviously the instant gratification wala happiness, right? The one that you get out of looking at likes on your Insta posts, or when you binge watch a Netflix series, or have a great meal outside. It doesn't last for too long. And it make you want more and more of it. This is the kind of happiness that actually gets people addicted to drugs, etc. So it's a happiness, but it doesn't last long, and you need to be careful about going after such happiness. But then there are also different grades of happiness. The second type is where, you set goals for yourselves, targets for yourselves. For example, the happiness that the gold medalists sitting here, or gold medal aspirants who are sitting here, from the DML list, feel because they have set those goals and they have achieved those targets. So personal achievement, personal targets, of course, also give you a type of happiness that also doesn't last long, but it's better than instant gratification. So again, you need to be careful here because, when you set your targets and goals, you are going out there. Again, there is going to be a rat race, and you're going to be part of that rat race, and you need to be careful just focusing and giving too much emphasis on the goals, because in the process, if you're not enjoying the entire journey, you're going to get very stressed out, and the happiness when you do achieve those goals, if you do achieve those goals, is not going to be very happy feeling, right? I mean, it happens to most of us. So the third type of happiness is much more long-lasting, which comes out of, being content, having stable relationships, for example, or being able to spend time with your loved ones, your family members, and your close friends, right? And having some meaningful, kind of habit. Like, for example, you develop a habit of going and playing badminton. I used to do that quite a lot until I start having some neck pains. But so you can feel that happiness, contentment, it also gives you adrenaline, dopamine, whatever, oxytocins that help you keep you happy, both mentally and physically. So that is the happiness that most of us are capable of, but not go after because we are always engaged in instant gratification or your self-achievements, and your view becomes very narrow. The fourth one is where you are actually, have found a purpose for your life, a larger, purpose, wherein you are able to contribute to the larger society, and that is the fulfillment, we call it, right? Not happiness, but the joy and fulfillment of being able to contribute to larger society. And we are all in search of that. Some of you may already have found it. Most of us find it later, right? When you hit 50, that Chandragupta, decided at 50 that, I've had enough of these instant gratifications and not having a happy life. I want to go after being a monk, That, of course, is like fifth stage where we call it nirvana, and I'm not going to talk to you about getting nirvana. I don't think this is the right stage for us. But so that's where it lies, somewhere there, right? I mean, you do meditation and you try to figure out what is the purpose of your life. And it is important that you know this and you keep this in your mind, at the back of your mind. Why? Because this rat race and this uncertainty with your work life is going to give you a lot of stress. That's what Professor Vayalar was talking about, right? But, none of us can actually get away from it. In the initial years of your life, where you are trying to find your feet, you're trying to find what is it that I like or I don't like, is this the right company, is this the right career for me? Those times you do have to put in a lot of hard work, and you will figure this out as soon as you go out of IIMB, right? I mean, these will be your golden years in some sense once you start working. So having this at the back of your mind helps you identify opportunities that Professor Rishi was also mentioning, right? Keep yourself open, keep retraining yourself, reskilling yourself, keep looking out for those opportunities which are going to take you in the direction of your purpose, finding meaning for your life. I think it is important that you keep this at the back of your mind. And that's what happened to me, and that's why I'm actually, able to tell you all this. I always had, the people who are close to me know this very well, that I always was wondering, what is it that I should be doing with my life? And I was always looking out, and then finally, somehow, because I had all these antennas open and trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, sustainability came along. That's how I found sustainability. And then that became my passion, because I feel like I'm able to contribute. This is something the world needs, and I'm able to help you achieve that. So what I'm saying is that when you are open to these thoughts and ideas and looking out, that's when you are able to capture this. And that becomes the second secret ingredient for having a good life: meaning or purpose, right? First is happiness, second is purpose. So you need to find your purpose, and once you find your purpose, then you don't mind working 24/7. My daughter asked me, "Mommy, what are you doing? All the time you are working." And I look around and say, where am I working? But I'm not working. I'm doing what I like doing, right? So you want to reach there. When you reach there, happiness automatically comes, and somebody is paying you for doing what you love doing. I think that should be what your target. If you ask me as a teacher, target for that. If not tomorrow, if not 5 years down the line, you will reach there at some point in time. Third secret ingredient is, recently people have discovered this, what is called psychological richness. PR for short. So it seems PR is what third secret ingredient. Now, what is this psychological richness means? Apparently, there are 3 things that characterize this psychological richness: novelty, complexity, and perspective changing. Or you could call it a challenging task. So people, just because you are happy, just because you have found meaning, doesn't mean that you don't have that gap, right? I mean, you feel somehow there is some emptiness inside you. So this third secret ingredient actually helps you identify yourself, discover people around you. And, so for example, to give you, like some of you must have gone to this Himalayan challenge. I'm sure Saurav is going to talk a little bit about, this PR related stuff, I hope. So when you go to Himalayas on base camp of Mount Everest, this is a novel activity. It's challenging activity. It's also perspective changing, because you start finding a lot about yourself, right? Your strengths, your weaknesses, and where, how your own colleagues act. So you don't need to go to Himalayas for that, but even reading a really good book or watching a good movie or going on a road trip with your friends and loved ones can actually give you PR. Basically, those of you who are very adventurous in nature, this is what you are craving for. But the good life apparently constitutes a balance of these 3 ingredients. So if you are able to fill your life with these three ingredients, I'm sure all of you are going to become contented and lead good life.